If the kitchen's where you'd rather have your friends and family gather, you should hit the like and subscribe down below. And if filling plates and platters while maintaining flavor matters, then there's a stellar cook that you should know. It's Rain, the planet with a palate. They'll keep you fed and coming back for more. So come on, take up space. Rain will make a tasty plate and tell the diet Karens where to go. It's the planet with a palate cooking show.
Hello, Planeteers. Today we'll be having mashed potatoes and
meatballs. So one of the things y'all have been asking me to show you is what I do when I don't feel like cooking. What do I eat? What do I eat? So I do order out. You guys saw me order out some Chinese food last season. But I also sometimes just make easy meals. So I'm gonna make something today that literally has 3 ingredients. I used to watch this show like at the beginning of COVID. It's story time, everyone. So at the beginning of COVID, I had, like everyone else, was rediscovering myself, not going out into the public, not going out into the world. And I had a garden. And I started thinking, what if I had a group of people and we all got together and we just basically bought a farm. We all started growing crops. We all started doing the things. And actually, originally in that group, my spouse, Roman, was in that group. And that's kind of part of our friendship journey sort of thing. So anyways, we were all going to start a farm. That's not the case now. We've all come out of the other side of COVID a little bit. Nobody's trying to start a farm right now, but we are still all doing the things that we learned, the special skills that we learned while we were in COVID. Things like I learned a lot more about gardening and stuff like that, which is why I wanted to start this episode with gardening, because this all kind of tracks. And so I was watching this show during COVID called Bless This Mess. And this show, you guys, it has everybody in it. It's such a good cast. I cannot even begin to tell you. First of all, the starring couple is played by Lake Bell and Dax Shepard. So we're already off to a great start. It has the incomparable and legendary Pam Grier in it. What? Ed Begley Jr. is in it. David Koechner is in it, who is the bald guy who has a really thick Southern draw and a lot of things. He's very funny. He's a comedian, and he's also an anchorman. He plays Champ in Anchorman, Champ Kind. Susie Essman, who plays Susie Green in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Jim O'Hare, who plays Jerry in Parks and Recs. He's so funny. And it has Jeffrey Owens, who was in The Cosby Show back in the day and played Elvin. So yeah, it's got an incredible cast, and it's all about, it was perfect for me at that time because I was I'm gonna move to a farm. And and it had, that was the storyline. It was these 2 people from New York City, and they were, they inherit this house and they move there, and it's this farmland, and then they, become part of this community of all these strange people who live out in the country and farm and all this kind of stuff. So it was a really cool show, but that brings me to what I'm actually going to make tonight. So I've been making something for parties for a really long time, and in the show they called it dump balls. And the joke was that you're just supposed to dump the ingredients in. You're not even supposed to stir it or whatever. And they're having a big party, and at the party someone stirs the dump balls, and it's who stirred the dump balls? But yeah, it's the easiest party menu thing ever. It's just frozen meatballs. So easy. You just stick them right in the pot. You can do this in a crock pot, or you can do it on the stove. And then some barbecue sauce. I like the sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. And you can get the fancy barbecue sauce if you want, but honestly, the Kraft barbecue sauce is all you need. $1.97, you know. The sweet and spicy, and I just get it all in there. And these are such a good party meal food. Like, someone even made these at my wedding. So, I mean, they're just so easy. And, you know, I was watching an interview with Jennifer Garner recently, and she was talking about, with Kelly Clarkson, and she was talking about how she, you know, cooks. She has like a pretty cool, actually, reels and stuff on Insta, and I like watching her cooking. But they were asking, you know, like, do your kids eat your food? And she was like, honestly, like, the less time I spend on something, the more likely they are to eat it, which is so true. So, like, you guys always say, like, oh, I don't see, you know, Arthur eating these meals with you and stuff. But, like, as you saw last season, there's a lot of stuff he doesn't like. But meatballs, always a sure bet, a sure win. So the third ingredient is grape jelly, and I'm just going to use about, well, that's about what I have left, is a half a jar, and that's usually what I use, so that makes sense. You can actually use a whole jar if you want, but I find it too sweet that way, so I always do half a jar. And contrary to the lore of the show, I am going to mix this up. I'm not going to put any other seasoning in it. Nope, that's it. 3 ingredients. And I'm actually going to add just a little bit of water to mine. Just so that it has like enough sauce to rest in, and yeah. There we go. Now we're just gonna stick these in the crock pot. They're ready to go in. Actually, I'm not gonna slow cook these. I'm gonna pressure cook them. So I'm just gonna put it on this meat stew setting. So it's gonna pressure cook for about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna have yummy meatballs. So what will I be serving with these meatballs, these dump balls, you ask? Well, much to my own shame, except I'm not ashamed. Pre-made mashed potatoes, that's right, baby. 7 minutes in the microwave. And steamable broccoli. And you know what? Arthur will enjoy this meal thoroughly. What about dessert though, Rain, you ask? Well, luckily, I just made some pumpkin bread the other morning. This is not my recipe. It's a recipe that my roommate got, and we tried it out. It's pretty yummy. It's not as good as the old recipe I used to use, so I'm gonna have to try to find that. But and you know, I'm gonna eat dessert first, because I do what I want. I do what I want because I can. I'm actually not ashamed of making easy meals sometimes though, because like, here's the thing. Just because I can cook and just because I love to cook doesn't mean that I always have the time or the spoons or the energy. There's this creator on TikTok named Clover Mama. This is good. I'm getting to what I was gonna say, but we love pumpkin bread. And she has this little ditty, this little song that's like, I'm allowed to sit down, I'm allowed to sit down to do things that other folks do standing. I'm allowed to change the task at hand to make it less physically demanding. I'm pretty sure I'm not singing the right tune, but you get the idea. And it's really good. And I'm like, yeah, you know, because actually a lot of the emails and stuff that I have gotten from y'all have been people who've been telling me, wow, you inspired me to get back in my kitchen because I never thought of doing it on a rolling chair, you know, and stuff. And while, you know, people do love to badmouth me in my comments, being like, oh, you can't stand and cook. Like, that is something that's difficult for a lot of people. And I do have knee problems. And so I'm allowed to sit down. And I'm allowed to make pre-made mashed potatoes. Are they as good as homemade mashed potatoes? Not even close. Are they passable for an easy dinner that my kid loves on a school night? Yes. Those meatballs just beeped and I can smell them. All clean. You guys can see my nifty shelf. My big boy. I love this. It's vintage. A friend gave me that for Christmas one year. Of course, my Gators glasses. I have a little winch here for my oldest son, Tyler. He got this for me. He won it for me with like his winnings at one of those places that like, oh, and these are like my mortar and pestles for when I'm like doing some herb stuff. And this I recently got. I love it. My little teapot. This is also where I store my Pyrex. And some of my cute little glasses. So me and my partner, we have a bunch of ducks that we named at the park. And I got us these cute little glasses with ducks on them. Speaking of my wonderful spouse, they gave me this hat when we first met in Canada. Which they're not from Canada, just to be clear. Because everybody here as we first met in Canada, they speak French. I'm learning French. They think, oh, they're Canadian, French Canadian. No, they live in France. We just met up in Canada because Canada opened their borders sooner for COVID. So, all right. Cut a slit in the top. You can read the directions. Not teaching you nothing today. Unless you didn't know how to make dump balls, in which case, you're welcome. All right, Arthur, let me make your plate. I know you love meatballs and mashed potatoes, but you are gonna eat some broccoli. How many meatballs do you want, bud?
3.
Okay. 1, 2. You don't want 4?
Actually, how about 4?
4. All right. Let's get you some mashed potatoes. Here you go, buddy. You can go take this and sit down on that yellow couch and eat. Phew. Oh, wait, I gave you all the plates. Come back.
Anyway, phew.
Phew, are you excited to eat?
Yes.
Yes. You've been so hungry this whole time. You know, there's something comforting about meatballs and mashed potatoes. And like, yes, obviously homemade meatballs are like 1,000 times better. Homemade mashed potatoes too. Maybe I'll make some meatballs with y'all at some point. They're very similar to my meatloaf recipe. A little less ketchup-y, a little more marinara sauce kind of. But not complicated, not like my recipe or anything. Everybody I know who makes party meatballs makes these, but they're still so good. They still get a little happy dance. Mm. Mm. And I don't know if you can hear Arthur happily humming in the background, but he is quite enjoying his food as well. Hmm. Mm. Mm. Look, I have these little napkins still. Actually, these are the last ones from the last episode of the last season. So cute. We are definitely going to end this season off with another Gators two-parter episode. I'm so excited. We are already talking about what we're going to make. You want some more? Did you eat any broccoli? I'd like it if you'd eat most of that broccoli, okay? Are you still hungry?
How about 2 more meatballs?
2 more meatballs. Do you want any more mashed potatoes?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Here you go, bud. Eat the rest of that broccoli, though. Mm. So this is what we eat on a night when I don't feel like cooking. I have a lot of easy stuff that I'll make, you know. But yeah, this is a simple favorite. Mm. It feels so good to be back, you guys. Doing my Friday nights with y'all is the best. I'm really happy that you got to join me in the garden today. Really happy I got to tell you all about this weird show that I watched over COVID that I loved. Mm. Mm. Was that good?
Yes.
And now he's sleeping around. But I guarantee you, if I had gone in there and made like butternut squash and, you know, soup or fish tacos or something, it would not have gone over well. Mm. Cheers, y'all. So I need a second helping of everything except the broccoli. Now, obviously, same deal. Frozen broccoli is fine, just to get a little green. I like to, when I make dinners, especially. Arthur, honey, I'm filming.
I'm closing the door.
Okay, thank you. Screaming about 130 wikis. No way. He's been making little wikis on fandom for characters that he's made up. such as Kombucha Stevenson and his dad, Earl Grey Stevenson. And he'll be happy because he's always asking how many people know about Earl Grey Stevenson. And I'm like, not that many. It's like 5 people, you know, the few people that I've shared it with, but now the whole planet verse, the whole planet with a palette universe knows about Kombucha Stevenson and his father, Earl Grey Stevenson. Kid's so funny. I hope y'all had a wonderful week and that you have something exciting or fun planned for this weekend, or maybe just a little rest and relaxation after a long week at work. My plan is to chill with y'all tonight. And see what kind of misadventures I can get into over the weekend. Might go terrorize the Home Depot for some more plants. Thanks for joining me, y'all. I love hanging out with you. So happy to be back. Make food. Make easy meals, get crazy, try new things, make hard meals, you know. Let's just get in the kitchen because it's fun. And in the garden too, you know. Bye, y'all.
It's the Planet with a Palette Cooking Show!